Good morning. It is March 16th, 2026, and my name is Bianca, and I am making another recording about the human trafficking and the satanic cult. I mean, it's really hard to pinpoint exactly the crime that is going on in Cincinnati. And if you've listened to any of my older recordings, and if you haven't, um, I was a woman going to the Gamble Nippert YMCA back in 2021, 2022 with my 9-year-old daughter. At this present date, she would have been 14 years old, but back then it was just me and her, and there were employees there by the name of Glenda Harris, also a daycare teacher, hired Zach, a lifeguard, from the Gamble Nippert YMCA to sell me and my daughter's information to a Cincinnati prostitution cartel that is ran by, I'm not sure exactly who it's ran by, the kingpin, but I have an idea that it may be the lifeguard, Zach, Glenda Harris, and somewhere in between Cindy Rizzo and their family. And Cindy Rizzo is the manager of the Clippert YMCA. So it's not just the Gamble Nippert YMCA. It's not just the YMCA. We're talking about multiple nonprofit organizations, and we're also talking about the Hamilton County justice system. And I don't want to stay on too long, but I want it because it's so much information. This has been going on with my self for 5 years, since 2021. And it started with me working out as a normal civilian in their YMCA Gamble Nippert Western Hills location. Didn't talk to very many people, didn't have much to say, wasn't rude, but hi, bye. Never joined their extra activities, never did any of their programs, just worked out in the weight room, and I swam a few times, and that was it. Okay, and then I brought my daughter, but somehow Glenda Harris and lifeguard Zachary, they researched my information because we're dealing with criminals here. We're dealing with scam artists who thrive in places such as the YMCA, places where there are a lot of people, communities of people. Okay, so somehow they must have found out that my family left money in the Hamilton County legal system. I don't know how they found that out. I'm just a stranger working out at the gym. I didn't even have a gym relationship, so we didn't discuss weights. We didn't discuss anything. Neither were they trying. So it was like, well, okay, I'm here to work out. Okay, but somehow these individuals dug a hole into my life, and they stole my career. They stole my family's money. Lifeguard Zach raped my daughter. He paid my landlord to have physical access to her, and he had other men. He had my neighbors and my landlord and my maintenance man raping her with other men. Okay, so they're trying to cover this up. Okay, so Zachary and Glenda thought the quickest way to get away with stealing my family's money was to kill me and my daughter off with their sex trafficking ring. They thought we'll sell her and her daughter. They won't know there's cameras in their home. They thought they were going to kill me and my daughter off before I was aware of any of this. So they had made deals behind my back, never held any type of conversation or any type of indication that they were plotting this. Okay, so this is how they operate. Okay, so they paid several lawyers, judges within Hamilton County to keep this concealed. They also sold my information to their police and sheriffs within the Hamilton County jurisdiction to harass, stalk, and to monitor me, and they made up fraudulent reasons to do so. So this cartel uses the judicial system to assault, attack, and to funnel women and children. They use the legal system to funnel women. Okay, people like Zach and Glenda at the YMCA. Okay, they made up lies to be able to put false paperwork, and they stood behind their community to do it. So, as you well know, the YMCA is a very large, supposedly reputable entity. So when people speak from that entity, it's seen as legit, a well-established place. But these people are using that logo. People such as Glenda Harris, Tyler Cook, Cindy Jock, Tommy, which is another daycare teacher. So all these people have these positions and they're pedophiles. They don't want to be exposed. They don't want their prostitution ring to be exposed. They don't want their child pedophile murdering and raping to be exposed. So what they do is they they utilize this cartel to intimidate, to bully, to stalk people. And how they do this is they use it through bribery. So they pay people like Beth and Gordon. Okay, this is the third property management that has been paid. Okay, to make false reports, to provoke fights and arguments. They paid a lot of their neighbors to do so too. So how the cartel moves is to be able to operate is they hire through whatever means they get paid, but they do a lot of monitoring by illegal surveillance. They do a lot of following, harassing, and they do a lot of excuse me type of thing. So they're very slick and cunning how they operate. So they, for example, will pay someone to act like they're bumping into you. Okay? They'll pay someone to step on your foot on purpose real hard. They'll pay someone to knock on your door really hard. Okay? So these are the type of intimidation, not only intimidation practices, but also the methods they use to falsely incarcerate people. And they already have their Cincinnati police that are already a part of this cartel to do arrests, not listen to any side but the person that is supposedly the victim. But the victim is a cartel member. The victim is paid to start the fight to be able to make the false report. And the crooked police in Cincinnati are already aware of this. The judges are already set up for the docket. And before you know it, you're prosecuted on false charges such as Judge Joshua Berkowitz. He performed a fraudulent criminal sentence against me for the cartel. For Zach and Glenda. Why did he do it? Because he was paid by Zach and Glenda and the YMCA people at the Gamble Nippert to do so, because they don't want to be arrested. They don't want to be exposed for raping my daughter, for selling her, for stealing, for committing identity theft, forgery, for making false reports, for altering my medical documents. So all these crimes they don't want exposed, and they're willing to go to any length. They're willing to include anyone, and they're willing to do anything not to face consequences. So currently what they've done was they've bribed a few members of the management at Louise Inn. I know for sure Beth and Gordon, a couple of more of their employees, and I don't know how many of their neighbors are doing this harassing and stalking, and this is how they operate in secrecy. It takes a trained eye to be able to see the criminal activities on a day-to-day consistent basis on how they run their human trafficking rings within the apartment buildings and even within commercial buildings, because that's what happened to me. Glenda Harris sent Zach in the weight room of the Gamble Nippert YMCA to trap me and my daughter. And once he did so, he and Glenda and Marilyn and Bridget and Tyler made up a lie to have me kicked out of the YMCA. And they did that because they had me where they wanted me and my daughter to further their abuse. Okay? So, like I said, I'm going to reiterate. In 2022, Zach, Glenda, Marilyn, Tyler, and them worked together to make up some lie on me to get me kicked out of the YMCA. And that would have been fine, because it's like, well, if someone doesn't want you somewhere, people are liable to do all sorts of things. And, I'm a mature woman. I'm a middle-aged woman. This is not my first time around the rodeo in society. People are liable to do all sorts of things when they don't want you, in their clubhouse. But I was not aware that at the time they did that because they already had the sex trafficking on me and my daughter, and they wanted to escalate. Zach, Glenda, Tyler Cook, Marilyn Horning, they wanted to escalate their abuse, okay? So they took me out of the Gamble Nippert YMCA. I'm thinking it's over with. I wasn't treated too kindly there, but that was only the beginning of their satanic abuse. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap it up. It's been a pleasure talking to you all. I don't want to make it too long. I will come out with future recordings. Hopefully I'm saying information that is refreshing. Sometimes it sounds like it's redundant, but you know what? It's a lot of stuff, and this has been happening for 5 years, and I'm continuing to fight it. I want to expose it, and here I am. Once again, thank you very much for listening to the recording. And once again, God bless and take care.